Hey everybody, welcome to this lesson for your 1202 exam, where we're going to be having a look at exam objective 2.3. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about all of this and then give you some practice questions at the end. So let's go ahead and get straight to it. We're going to start off with protocols and encryption. So essentially there's a variety of different protocols and encryption that you need to know about, and for your exam you're going to need to say which combination of the two is the strongest. So you might be given a scenario, it might give you some cost considerations, it might give you some security considerations, might give you some device considerations, and based on those you will have to say the best option for you is to use this security protocol with this particular method of encryption, and this is going to be the best for you. And in order to do that, you need to know about the following. So first of all, Wi-Fi security protocols. Wi-Fi uses established rules, otherwise known as protocols, and advanced scrambling or encryption to ensure your wireless connection remains safe and private. So these are the two things we need to know about here. We need to know about the Wi-Fi protocols, and separate to that, the methods of encryption that they use. Starting with Wi-Fi protocols, you need to know about WPA2 or Wi-Fi Protected Access 2. Long story short, this is the current standard for a lot of Wi-Fi networks. It employs strong AES encryption to protect data through although there is a past vulnerability that has highlighted its limitations. So really the key thing here is you need to be able to compare WPA2 to the next one, which is WPA3, which fixes those vulnerabilities, right? So WPA3 is the newest and most robust Wi-Fi security standard. It significantly enhances password attack resistance and offers increased privacy for open public networks. So long story short, you've got two Wi-Fi protocols. WPA2 is less secure than WPA3. Okay, WPA2 is less secure than WPA3. Functionally, that's what you need to know. Now moving on to encryption. Yeah, it's pretty much that simple, guys. Now moving on to encryption. The first one we have is TKIP, or Temporal Key Integrity Protocol. This is an older, weaker encryption method that has served as a temporary fix, and it is now outdated and easily exploitable. You should always look to use the next one that you need to know about, which is AES, or Advanced Encryption Standard, which is a highly secure and efficient data scrambling method. It is the primary encryption used by WPA2 and is mandatory for WPA3, offering the best protection. So that's the key, guys, right? Both WPA2 and WPA3 are capable of using the most secure encryption, AES. So essentially, you may be given a question that's like, which of the following offers the best or the most security when using Wi-Fi? And it might say like WPA2 and TKIP, WPA2 and AES, or WPA3 and TKIP, WPA3 and AES. The answer there is always going to be WPA3 or Wi-Fi Protected Access 3 and AES, Advanced Encryption Standard. Always use AES, and wherever possible, always use AES with WPA3. Functionally, for your exam, remember that, you'll be okay. Now, key authentication methods. We need to go through three primary methods that networks use for authentication, and then we do need to revisit multi-factor authentication again, because they really want us to know about that. Even though we've talked about it probably 20 times up until this point, we're going to do it again, because that's what they want us to do. So there are several crucial authentication methods. You need to know about three, okay? We need to know about Radius, TACACS, and Kerberos. All right, Radius, TACACS Plus, and Kerberos. I'm going to take you through starting with Radius. Functionally, for your exam, you need to be able to say, hey, based on these guys' requirements, should they use Radius, TACACS Plus, or Kerberos? Functionally, that's what you'll need to know. Or based on the description, is this question describing Radius, TACACS Plus, or Kerberos? Okay, let's start with Radius. So the full name is Remote Authentication Dial-In User Service, or Radius. And before we get into the text, have a look over here, right? Radius, think of it as this little server over here. It is a central server that everyone is authenticating to, which is exactly what Radius is used for. It's a widely used networking protocol that provides centralized authentication, authorization, and accounting, or AAA, management for users connecting to its network service. So it's very widely used. How does it work? Let's have a look. A user attempts to access the network. They'll then have to provide credentials. There's an access request. So the network access server, or the NAS, you don't need to know about those letters, just the network access server acts as a Radius client, forwarding the user's credentials to the Radius server. So those credentials are forwarded to the server. after the user tries to log in. The Radius server will then validate the credentials against the database that it has on file or an external directory that it's been referred to use. It determines if the user is allowed to access at all, and if they are allowed access, what permissions they have. Finally, the Radius server sends the access accept or access reject message back to the server. Now, in terms of network access, upon the access accept, the server will grant the user access based on the authorized policies. Radius also handles accounting, tracking, and session usage. So key things here are Radius is a central method for authenticating. User tries to log in, they send their data to the server sends it to Radius. Radius will send a message back saying either yes, they are allowed, or no, they're not allowed. Here's what they are or are not allowed to use. It is robust for centralized management. Radius typically only encrypts the password in transit. So this is going to be the key distinguishing factor, right? It encrypts the password in transit, leaving other data vulnerable without additional security measures. So a few things to be able to distinguish Radius. It does handle tracking, accounting, and session usage. So it handles accounting and tracking session usage. Radius does that. It also only encrypts the password in transit. Those two things are going to be the standout. Compare that to the next one, which is TACACS Plus, the full name being Terminal Access Controller Access Control System Plus. Just TACACS Plus is fine. So this is a proprietary Cisco protocol widely used for managing authentication, authorization, and accounting on network devices such as routers and switches. It does have some advantages over Radius, and we're going to get into those right now. So first of all, it has full encryption. So unlike Radius, which only encrypts the password, TACACS Plus encrypts the entire packet payload between the client and the server, which is of course much more secure. Additionally, TACACS Plus excels in offering more granular control, more fine-grained control over specific commands a user can execute on a network device. Administrators can configure detailed authorization policies, allowing or denying access to individual commands or groups of commands. Additionally, there's the separation of AAA, so TACACS Plus treats authentication, authorization, and accounting as separate processes, not as the same process, and this modularity means that if one service fails, the others can still function independently, which offers greater flexibility and resilience. Primary use cases for TACACS Plus, primarily used for device administration and management rather than user access to network services. It's the preferred choice for securing access to critical infrastructure components such as routers, switches, etc. So basically, guys, generally, like we've got some specifics and we've got some broad things to be able to distinguish these things. Specifics is Radius encrypts the entire data packet whilst, other way around. TACACS Plus encrypts the entire data packet whilst Radius only encrypts the password. TACACS Plus offers more specific and more granular control over what users can and cannot do, whilst Radius is less specific. Additionally, generally, Radius will be used when a user is trying to access a network, whilst TACACS Plus is generally going to use for device administration and management rather than access to network services. So if you can distinguish it based on those three, you should be okay. Hopefully that all makes sense. We're going to move on to the next one, which is Kerberos. So Kerberos Authentication Protocol is also used for AAA, and it is designed to provide strong authentication for client-server applications by using secret key cryptography. It ensures mutual authentication. For Kerberos, that's a big thing. Mutual authentication. What does that mean? Kerberos does mutual authentication, which means both the user and the server verify each other's identity. Its ticket-based system prevents credentials from being transmitted over the network repeatedly, which enhances security and is widely used in large enterprise environments such as Microsoft Active Directory. So two key things already. It does mutual authentication and it is ticket-based. Those two things will allow you to distinguish from the others, okay? Let's get more into it. It relies on a KDC, or a Key Distribution Center, which is the central authority in a Kerberos system. It comprises of two logical parts. It has the authentication server and the ticket granting server, or the TGS. It issues tickets that grant users access to network services. So again, Kerberos is based on tickets. That alone if mentioned in a question, will allow you to say, hey, it's Kerberos we're talking about. Ticket-based system. Instead of using passwords, Kerberos uses tickets to verify user identities. These encrypted tickets are time-stamped and contain information about the user and the service they wish to access. Again, if you see anything about tickets, you know we're talking about Kerberos. Single sign-on and mutual authentication. It enables single sign-on, allowing users to log in once and access multiple services without re-entering credentials, and it provides mutual authentication where both the client and server cryptographically verify each other's identity. So you're both verifying to one another. That's the keys, guys. The key is it does mutual authentication. It's a ticket-based system, okay? It relies on a key distribution center, all right? If you can remember those three, you should be all right, and you should be able to remember, hey, this, based on what I've seen, this is Kerberos. The last thing we need to know about is multi-factor authentication. Honestly, guys, we've talked about this so much. We just need to remember multi-factor authentication is a combination of something you know, something you have, something you are. The reason I'm kind of flying through this one is because I've talked to you about it about 6 times now. I'll be very surprised if you don't know what it is. Something you know is a password, a PIN, a username. Something you have is something that you keep on you, such as a smart card. Maybe you get text message because you have to have your phone to receive that text message. Maybe you have a hardware security token, right? And then something you are is your fingerprint, your retina, your facial structure, etc. All right, so multi-factor authentication improves security because it's more likely that you are who you say you are, and it's good to have. All right, so with that being said, let's get into some practice questions. Hey guys, this video is sponsored by the A+ Core 1 and Core 2 Ultimate Learning Guide. This learning guide has helped many people pass their Core 1 and Core 2 exams, meaning that they can move on to their Network Plus and Security Plus sooner rather than later. In the learning guide, here's what you will get. Detailed notes, revision notes, active recall questions, and multiple choice questions for every single exam objective. 3 full-length practice exams with performance-based questions, a document with performance-based questions, a video showing you exactly how to study using multiple choice questions so you will be moving ahead of 99% of other people at a much faster rate because you are studying more effectively. A video giving you test-taking tips in case you get stuck on a question in the exam. A video showing you how to use free AI tools to 10 times your study sessions. And best of all, I want this to be accessible to everyone regardless of your economic position, so I've made it extremely affordable. So if this sounds good to you, you can head over to journeytocyber.com and grab your A+ Core 1 or Core 2 learning guide today. The first question reads, a user is setting up a new Wi-Fi network and wants the strongest possible security, including protection against offline password guessing attacks and forward secrecy, which prevents pass traffic from being decrypted, even if the password is later compromised. Which protocol is the best choice? WPA2, DKIM, WPA3, or UTM? Pause the video if you need more time. Your answer is coming in 3, 2, 1. Now. It's C, guys. WPA3 is the most advanced Wi-Fi protocol. The most security is always going to come from WPA3. WPA2 is less secure, and DKIM and UTM pretty irrelevant. They're just random stuff I threw in here. The next question reads, an IT administrator needs to configure a security system that provides centralized authentication for users connecting to a new Wi-Fi network. The system must verify usernames and passwords against a central database, but it only needs to encrypt the password within the authentication request. Which protocol is best suited for this purpose? A. Kerberos, B. TACAX+, C. Radius, or D. MFA? Pause the video if you need more time. Your answer is coming in 3, 2, 1. Boom. It is going to be Radius, guys. We just talked about that. I'm not going to go over that too much. Hopefully, we remembered and got that one right. Next question reads, a company wants to implement a robust authentication protocol that provides mutual authentication between a client and a server using tickets and is the default protocol for Active Directory. This protocol must not transmit passwords over the network after the initial login. Which protocol meets these requirements? A. Radius, B. TACAX+, C. Kerberos, or D. MFA? Your answer coming in 3, 2, 1. It is Kerberos C. All right, again, we just talked about that. I'm not going to go over it again. Rewind if you need to revise. The next question reads, a network administrator is replacing an outdated WEP secured network with a new, more secure protocol. They need a protocol that provides strong encryption and authentication, but is also widely compatible with most modern devices. Which protocol is the most suitable for this purpose, balancing strong security with broad compatibility? Is it A, WPA3, B, TKIP, C, WPA2, or D, wired equivalent privacy? Your answer coming in 3, 2, 1. It is actually going to be C this time, guys. The key here was wide and broad availability, right? WPA2 is less secure than WPA3, but WPA3 is not yet widely taken on everywhere, and it's not compatible with everywhere and everything. So because it really specified a balance between high security and high compatibility, WPA2 in this instance was the answer. So you can see here, you got to read the question properly and make sure you really understand what it's asking you. Now, if you've enjoyed this, guys, everything in here is an excerpt from my learning guide. I've helped all of these people pass their A+ Core 1, Core 2, all right? Some of them moved on to the Network Plus. This guy got almost full marks and has now moved on to the Network Plus. If you're interested, all of this is from my learning guide. You can go ahead and click on the link in the description below or in the comment below. Here's what you're going to get. All right, you're going to get learning guide broken down by exam objective. So you've got exam objective 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. If I click on that, zoom out, come over here, click on the download button, and once that finishes downloading, click on that. You are going to get it broken down completely by exam objective. So you can see here you've got 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, etc. But it gets even better. You can go in detail. Let's say I only want to know about let's go 1.7, and I only want to know about client network configurations. I can click on that. It will take me there. I'm then going to get detailed notes, summary information, and when I go all the way to the bottom of that exam objective, I'm going to get active recall questions, which are like open-ended questions, answers to those, and then multiple choice questions for that specific exam objective only. So it's very, very organized, very specified at that specific exam objective. So I'm making sure you understand that before you move on. Once you have done that for every single exam objective, you also get 3 practice exams, which you can go ahead, download those. And once you open that up as well, it is going to give you 3 practice exams, each of which has 2 performance-based questions and 90 multiple choice-based questions, all right? And that's waiting there for you to test yourself. You also get a document with performance-based questions and additional videos that go through how to use AI tools to study, how to approach multiple choice questions if you get stuck on your exam, and how to actually study with multiple choice questions so that you effectively remember what you have to remember. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, head over to journeytocyber.com. The link in description or comment below, click on 1201, 1202, and you can have a look there and download if that looks like something you want to download. All right, bye guys.